In the end of Baaloscha, this week's portion, we have the story of Miriam, Moshe's sister, who was stricken with leprosy, rendering her impure, as a result of which she had to stay outside the camp in quarantine for 7 days, a minimum, until she becomes pure. And we're told that the Jewish people who were ready to move on to their next location in the desert waited for her the entire time it took her to become pure so she can come back into the camp and travel together with them. And we're told that the reason that she was rewarded this way was because some 8 decades earlier, when she was a 6-year-old girl, her mother gave birth to Moshe, and it was during the time of the Egyptian decree against every male child that was born that would be thrown into the Nile. So her mother put him in a basket into the Nile River, hoping for the best. And it says that Miriam walked along the basket and waited at the edge of the water to see what would happen to him. And because she waited there for a very short period of time, it wasn't long that she was there, she was now rewarded 8 decades later that the whole entire Jewish people waited for her. And when you think about this, when she was 6 years old and she was waiting to see what would be with this basket with Moshe, her brother, there was very little she can do. If an Egyptian found him and picked him up, there was nothing, but there was no hope. She couldn't help with anything, but she was there. She felt as a sister, I need to be there for my brother. And sometimes in life, that makes all the difference in the world, being present, even if you can't help. A lot of that happens to us many times, where we know of a problem someone is going through, and there's not, we're limited. There's not much we can do for them, but there's a lot you can do for them to show them that you care, you're present. You call them, you inquire, how are you? Just to empathize with them, just to sympathize with them, to be there with them during their troubles. You can't do anything, you can do a lot. Maybe not in the end result of helping their problem, but helping them go through that problem. You can do so much just by being present. And you know what? You'll be rewarded sometimes 8 decades later with an extraordinary reward, just like Miriam. The entire Jewish people, 2 million people, held up, waited for her. And there too, there was nothing they can do for her. They couldn't make her pure a minute more earlier. There's just a minimum amount of time there's a procedure you have to go through. But they waited. They showed her empathy. And she could have traveled along with them outside the camp, just move along with the camp. But they didn't do that. They waited for her, showing her that they care about her, and they wanted her to be part of their journey in the camp with them together. It made all the difference in the world. And the Torah records it for us so that we should know this. Being there for someone, being present in someone else's troubles, even if you can't do anything, goes such a long way. And it's recorded in heaven, and you'll be rewarded. Shabbat Shalom.